Trojan Sports Now.
This weekend, the Trojan football team will be back on the road and continuing their 5-game stretch in conference play, and they'll be taking on one of the newest members of the Sun Belt. Saturday, the Trojan football team will be taking on Georgia State for the first time in the Panthers' inaugural Sun Belt Conference game. The Panthers are in a 2-year transition to the Football Bowl subdivision, but head coach Larry Blakeney isn't taking this team lightly.
You can call it whatever kind of game you want to call it, but it's a conference game on the road to me. And I hope that our players don't think it's anything but that.
Georgia State is winless this season and coming off playing the top-ranked team in the country, but the Trojans say they won't be looking past any opponent on the schedule.
Absolutely not, man. You know, I mean, maybe 5-6 years ago, but no, not today. After all the struggles that we've been through and what we've had to overcome, it's more about, you know, we got to go out and fight every single week, no matter who we're playing.
It'll be another conference game, so, you know, we want to make sure that we come out with a win, especially being on the road.
I know they hadn't won a game, but, you know, if you saw them on tape, you wouldn't think they were a winless team.
The game will be played in the Georgia Dome, and while most players haven't gotten that type of experience, Robinson is one of only a few players left on the roster that played in the New Orleans Bowl in 2010 in the Superdome and says it's an experience like no other.
The last time we went down there, I was like, man, this is what it feels like, you know, playing on the big-time stage. You know, even though it wasn't even packed, it just felt like, you know, playing in a venue like that is just amazing. So hopefully the same outcome will come this week, man. Playing in places like that was what really makes it fun for me.
The Trojans are winless on the road so far this year, and a victory on Saturday would help keep them in the conference title hunt.
Thanks for the home field advantage, I guess, right? So it's going to be huge if we go down there and play a good football game and get this win.
We got to be able to transition this week, take that same mentality we had this week in Troy to Atlanta.
You know, we haven't got a road win yet this season, so this could be a big one for us.
Kickoff in the Georgia Dome will be at 2:30 Saturday afternoon, and the game will be aired on CSS.
The soccer team will look to make it 3 in a row as they head north on Friday for a matchup with the top team in the Sun Belt. Troy will face Western Kentucky Friday at 1 o'clock. The Hilltoppers are undefeated in the league at 3-0 and are 5-3-4 overall. In the last 3 matchups between the two, Troy is 2-0-1. Head coach Chris Bentley is hoping his team is ready for the challenge.
In my opinion, they probably are the team to beat right now. They've gotten most consistent results this year. They certainly are organized in defense, and that's something that makes it harder for us to break down. I think we have the quality in our final third in particular to break them down, but you know, anything can happen on the day. We have to be ready to play our best game up to this point, and I hope we can.
And Sunday, Troy travels to Atlanta to face Georgia State for the first time since 2010. This will be the first matchup between the two as members of the Sun Belt, and Troy has a losing record all time against the Panthers, but has won the last 2 in the series. The cross-country team is returning home this weekend for their second and final regular season meet on the home course. This time, however, it will be a completely different course from the Trojan Invitational. With the renovations of the golf course nearing completion, the course will be altered from their first meet. And with the Sunbelt Cross Country Championships less than a month away, head coach Jeff Jenkins says the Coach O Invitational will give his team an advantage in the championships.
There's not a whole lot of Sunbelt teams coming to Coach O, which is fine by me. It just means that they won't see the course and we'll know it very well, so it's our advantage. But just racing on that course will be so different than anything they've ever experienced than any other race, and it'll be exactly the same thing they'll be racing at the Sunbelt Championships. A few more teams, a little more hype, a lot more paint on the ground and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's the same route, it's the same thing they're going to be doing, and that's a huge step, a huge advantage for us going into the Sunbelt Championships on November 2nd.
The Coach O Invitational will be on Saturday morning beginning on the practice fields beside Trojan Arena. The women's race will begin at 10:30 while the men will begin at 11. The volleyball team wraps up a 4-game homestand this weekend with matches on Friday and Sunday. Friday night, Troy will take on Georgia State in Trojan Arena beginning at 7 o'clock. The Panthers are at the bottom of the league right now and are 0-5 in the conference and 5-14 overall, but Coach Sonny Kirkpatrick knows his team can't overlook anyone.
That's when they come in here. We've got to fight tooth and nail to try to bring a win home. And even a record back at 3-3 in the conference, it's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. They're a good team. They're very physical. They're very tall, and we're going to have to play at our best to compete.
Troy finishes the weekend with a matchup against Louisiana Monroe Sunday at noon. The Warhawks are 1-4 in the Sun Belt and 5-16 overall. Troy has never lost to the Warhawks in 9 meetings.
The men's golf team will be back in action at the Auto Traders Collegiate Classic this weekend in Georgia, while the women will be at the Jacksonville Courtyard Classic in Jacksonville, Florida. It will be the first time both teams have competed since opening the schedule 2 weeks ago. Both the men's and women's tournament will be run Monday and Tuesday.
And now it's time to take a look at the Trojans in the pros. DeMarcus Ware had 6 tackles, including 1 for loss in the shootout against the Broncos on Sunday. Ware has 16 tackles on the season, and the Cowboys square off against Washington on Sunday.
OCU Manura had 6 tackles and 2 sacks on Monday Night Football as the Falcons were upset by the New York Jets. The 1-4 Falcons have a bye this Sunday.
Leotis McKelvin had 3 tackles on Thursday Night Football, but the Bills fell to the Browns. McKelvin and Buffalo will play host to the Bengals on Sunday.
Jarrell Jernigan had 2 catches for 13 yards, but the Giants fell for the 5th straight game, losing to the Eagles on Sunday. The Giants play Thursday night against the Bears.
Mario Addison had 2 tackles, including half a sack, but the Panthers fell to Arizona 22-6. This week, the Panthers traveled to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
Kenoris Davis was signed back to the Patriots' active roster before Sunday's matchup against the Bengals. Kenoris had 1 tackle in the loss, and this Sunday, the Patriots play host to the Saints.
And that's all the time we have for Trojan Sports Now. Join us again next week for more news, reviews, and previews.
For Jonathan Sellers, I'm Danielle Percival. Thanks for watching, and as always,
go Trojans.
Trojan Sports Now.